today's office hours, as you can see on the agenda, we have lighting and textures. As always, you can leave questions in the chat. I will be checking that regularly just to make sure that I have all the questions answered. So let me go through the agenda first, and then we will jump in to lighting, then we will go to textures, and then I will have something exciting to announce, and then we can continue with more questions if, of course, you will have some. So first of all, we have how to use lighting strategically to add depth, drama, and mood. So I will actually guide you through like a floor plan, and we will be talking about how many different kind of lights we can add to interior, and to create different zones, or to help with different tasks, etc. And then we will go with textures. So ways to choose and apply textures, the ones that look natural and photorealistic, and how to actually do it so they look realistic. I will be talking about that as well. And then we will go with how to combine lighting and materials for stunning render results. So yes, so let me go to a project that I have opened here, and we will start with the lighting. Okay. This one here. Okay. So instead of working on one room, I've opened a small floor plan. As you can see, there's only that's a downstairs, so we have like a two separate living rooms, and then we have a kitchen with a dining room and the hallway. And we will go through each of these spaces, and we will talk about lights. Also, I will give you some tips how you can space out your lights so they're exactly where you want them to be. Yes, so let's start. So I will just zoom in on this kitchen here. And from here, we have, maybe I'll go from this side, yeah, so we don't have the wall and we can actually see into the inside. So as you can see, that's just like a regular floor plan with just kitchen, dining, loads of storage, just a regular sized house, not overly big, not very small, just a regular house. So for example, in the kitchen dining area, we have two main lights. So these are ceiling lamps. One is above the kitchen table. So when we are planning the space and we know the layout, so we know where the kitchen will be, we know where the dining table will be, it's actually a very good idea to you don't have to space the ceiling lights central on the ceiling, because I'm basically a fan of spacing your ceiling lights in zones where they actually belong. So like if we have a room, and let's say that the room is large and we have a coffee table, we have large couches, and then in the middle there's a coffee table, and the coffee table is not central, but it will be pretty much in the same space. So I'd rather to space my ceiling light central with the coffee table than central with the room. I just don't like when it's just hanging there, because just so it is central. I just don't like when it's hanging there and it's like, and then the coffee table is like a half a meter or a meter other direction. My tip for sometimes we can move things around, and if you have a lamp that is on the wire, so like not maybe something like this one, like they have wires as well, but you just have to attach it to a ceiling. But if you will have like a pendant light that has a wire, then it's nice to leave a longer wire and maybe put the end of the wire central and then drop it above your, for example, a coffee table or even a dining table, etc. So like have that extra wire cable, so you're actually able to, move it, if you will have to move it like 1 meter this way or 1 meter that way. When we were finishing the house, what I did the light centered in the bedrooms, most of the bedrooms, when like, when I knew where the bed is going, where the wardrobes are going, etc. The rooms are pretty much square, so it wasn't like, it wasn't difficult to guess like, when where the light will be going. But when it comes to kitchen and dining, then of course I put lights above the kitchen island. Like I don't know if that kitchen island will be there forever, but that's the place for the kitchen island now. And of course, like we need to have lights above our kitchen island, so they are above the kitchen island and also above my kitchen, as I don't have any wall cabinet, so I have lights there as well. And I have lights spaced out above my dining table. There's not too much movement that I can actually do with, with my table. I can put it maybe like a half a meter or meter, like one way or the other, but it will be in the space where it is. And because there's just that's where it belongs. So like, so I have the lights above the dining table, and that's basically the rule that we will follow when it comes to lighting. So not only like we don't have to look for it to be central. The same like if we have two lamps, like for example in this space, I think they're pretty much in the same line. But if like, if that will be more like a L-shaped um sh room, or I don't know, or like, you will have a table in a different place, then like, we don't have to worry about that. It's more important that the light is above the kitchen table, the dining table, and centrally in the kitchen area, than to align them together. Maybe the more important thing will be to either use the same lights, for example, if you have an open space, or match them, by style, so they're not completely different. So like, for example, like, you will choose one like a chandelier that will be very, like very glamorous, and then you will put more like farmhouse or even vintage style lamp above, like in the second part of that space. So we try to um have them pretty much the same style, and of course so they go with the with the rest of the space and the rest of the house. So yes, so that's for the ceiling lights. Then of course we have different kind of lights. So for this space, because it's not big, then I in the dining area I only use the light above the kitchen, like the dining table, sorry. But here in the kitchen, I have lights, like a task lights under the cabinets. So these are simply the LED lights that I've used many times before, and I've showed them to you here as well. So I know, I'm sure that you exactly know which ones are these, but I can quickly go here and go to information. So these are these strip lights. We have them in multiple color options. So these are the ones you can, of course, do like a recessed lights under your cabinets if you want to. And we can add, if like, if you won't have too many natural light coming into the room, where like here I have glazed doors going into the garden, and I have a large window, so like I'm fine with the lighting. But if you would need more lighting, then we can of course add recessed lights just here more, that it's that the light goes on the countertop, so like on in your working space. Now, when it comes to spacing lighting, the best idea is to actually switch to 2D. and space them out in 2D. Or if you don't want to do it, then you can do it in 3D. So first I will show you how you can do it in 2D, and then I will show you how you can use the guidelines in 3D. The reason that I'm starting with the 2D, because I think that's the easiest, um, because you can see your layout, when you're down from, like from the top down when you're in 2D. So let me go first to File and Settings, and I will just switch off some of the default dimensions and maybe room titles. So like we don't have, okay, so it's, nice and clean and there's nothing in between. So I can actually show you what I'm doing. So you can, when you're in 2D, you can use a ruler to draw lines and then space out your lights. So you can actually put your lights where you want them to be. So for example, if I want to have them above this here, the dining table, I can move it more central actually. Then I will go with the ruler tool, and you can either start with wall or you can actually work with the table itself. So if I go from here to here, we have 253. So I can do 1 point, let's say 26, and draw my line. Now I can do the same for my kitchen. So let's say that I can go from here to here, 1.4, go here, and then also I can go from here to here. So that will be 1.5 and go this way. So you can do that with each room. So for example, here you can do it above your coffee table, or actually you can even do it more central because like this room is smaller and like we know already the layout of it. There's not much that you can change in the room because we have like a glass door going into the room. These are actually like pocket doors. Um, but yeah, but like you won't put the sofa any other way. So the coffee table is central. So like your light can be pretty much central as well. Then again, you can do it on the hallway, you can do it in your bathroom, and you can do that for ceiling lights, for recessed lights. So it all depends what you need. And now we can zoom in. And like, for example, I can move this one because like I can see that in 2D. But what we can actually do, you can now switch to ceiling plan mode and you will still see these ruler lines. So it doesn't matter what that you will draw them in floor plan mode, you will still see them in the ceiling plan mode. So that's the best part. So you can actually space them out and put your lights wherever you want them to be. I will see. No questions? No. So now if I will go to 3D mode, we can use the guidelines. But with using the guidelines, you're working with your ceiling space only. So like you don't actually see the rest of the kitchen because like, I will have to go like that. Like, pretty much where the kitchen is. But like, for example, like I can see my dining table, but if there's anything that you want to do it in 3D, or like even if I would like to space, let's say, my recessed lights, then of course I can do it. So I can take my guidelines, I can start, let's say, from here, and let's say that I want my recessed lights here, then escape twice, and the same I can do it from this side, and let's say that I want them to be here, enter and escape twice. And now I can also let's say that I want like a 4 or 5 of them, then I can also go from this side and I can space them so they are actually in the same like from one light to another, there's the same distance. for example. And now what we can do, we can get the recessed lights, zoom in, and pretty much paste them. They will snap within guidelines. So like you will actually make sure that they are whatever you want them to be. So we have these two ways how to space out your lights. I'm sure that most of you know knew about it, but if there is someone that didn't, then I really hope that that's something helpful and useful for you. And like that's the way I'm doing lights in 3D and the same way in 2D that I showed you before. I'm using the 2D modes more often because like you can see your layout and it's just better to actually space them about. Okay, so now if you don't need guidelines, then either you can go to File, Settings, and switch off your guidelines, or you can simply click on the guidelines the same with ruler in 2D and trim them away, for example, so like they're not visible anymore. Of course, they will not show on the render. So like if you don't, if they're not bothering you while you're in 3D, then you can of course like leave them because they won't show on the render. I think we have a question here. Can you make the light snap to the middle of the measurement? Well, they will snap to the line. So like whatever you will draw your line, they will snap to that line. So you just have to draw your line where you want, like you have to take into consideration the size of your lamp and then draw your guidelines over there. If you want to space them in the middle of your um of the measurements that you draw, then you have to do it in 2D because then you can space them and whatever because they're not snapping in 2D, they're not snapping into your ruler guidelines. So you have to yeah, so like you have to take that into consideration. Yeah, you're welcome, Jenna. How do you get to trim to erase the guidelines? You just click on the guideline and then in the center, top center of your screen, you have trim. So like these are little scissors and you can simply click on the lines and they will highlight in blue and then you can trim them to delete them. Okay, now we're going to this room here. So for example, like this one is a smaller room again. We have a ceiling light, just going from this side, and then we have floor lamp next to the sofa. It's a lower one, so like it can work as a reading lamp, for example. So there's another example of different sorts of lighting. We have to remember that ceiling lights are not enough in the space. So like we have to add, like for example, we can even add lights under the shelves to add some ambience in the evening. We can have lights behind our TV, or if we have like a wall hang unit, we can do lights behind it. So like there's a lovely ambience when we're watching TV. There are lights that you can get them now where they actually change colors depending on what you're watching. And they're actually very cool if someone likes this kind of stuff. I'm not that person, but if someone likes it, like then they're actually cool. So they change colors. So let's say that you're watching a movie, then they will change throughout the movie. I think they're like a sync with the TV, and they keep on changing lights depending on like what colors are on your screen. That's very subtle. It's not like that they are flickering. It's like they just like change in very subtle way. And yes, so like you could do something like that as well. Also, we can space lights behind sofas for extra extra light. And if you have any ceiling designs, then we can add extra lights on the ceiling. Like this space is small, but when it comes to bigger spaces, these are like, the sources of lights that we can use. If we would have like a bigger room where we have, for example, two different seating areas. I don't know if I have it in this one. I think this one is smaller as well. It's not as big. So let me go to the inside. So like if we would have like an open space and like, it would be a bit more like a bit bigger. So like we will have this area here, and then we would also have area for like, maybe two armchairs. So like two pretty much separate areas. Then we can, for example, place table lamps or like by the armchairs to create like maybe reading space or something like that. So we have to remember to use multiple sources of light, like the ceiling lights. That's not enough. So here, for example, I have two floor lamps. But of course, if someone would like to, we can like add another like a small side table and put like another lamp on it, or we can also place lights like wall lights on the wall, like wall sconces. That's another idea of placing the lights, especially when we have like maybe long hallways. um Maybe like here, for example, if we would have just only like, one central light, or maybe just one light more here. So it gives us light going into the hallway and also on the stairs. Then we could put one or two sconces on our wall. Also, here, for example, in this room, we could have sconces on like, maybe both sides of the shelves on the wall. They are not only another source of light, but they can be very decorative. We have beautiful sconces now in the market, and they are very popular. um yes, like people use them more and more. So that's definitely something to consider where when you're designing your client's home. Definitely have sconces somewhere. Also in the bathrooms, like by the mirror, sconces are a good idea as well. Barbara, sometimes it's really hard to place items on the floating shelf properly, including lamp. Can you explain why is that and how to do it? The only thing that you have to do is actually zoom in on your floating shelf. The same if you will be placing items on like a bookshelf, or if you have a cabinet that has doors, then you actually have to zoom in so you're inside of that cabinet and then place your items. So if you zoom in, and like I have, not this room, sorry, we'll go to the floating shelves here. So is to just like, you have to only zoom in. So like, let me put this aside for a second, and I will show you that it's way easier when you like, when you have even like, if you go a bit on the angle, so like, the item reads that it's surface to go onto, it will be easier as well. So like, let's say that I will take like a book. You can, as you can see, like they will automatically snap on the shelf. So the most important is to zoom in and just have it a bit angled. So yeah, so like, so the software can actually read it as a another surface. Let's say that we will take like a table lamp. Okay, this one is huge, but we can pretty much resize it. Yeah, so as you can see, everything goes on that shelf So the most important is to zoom in and be a bit on the angle. Like, if I will have, for example, if I will have it like that, and I would like to place something on the top one that it might not snap, you see? Because it's like it doesn't read it as a surface. But if I will do it like that and go and take the same one, then it will snap because it reads it as a surface that it can just go on to. So yes, so like being on the angle a bit and zooming in, that's the only thing that you have to do. You're very welcome, Barbara. Laurie, I have a hard time getting like overall lighting to lighten up an area, like cabinet walls in a kitchen. The recessed cans are good, but create high and low lighting on the cabinets. Yes, yes, I know what you mean. And like you can play with that in during the renderings. So like if you will go with the overall lighting and try to make it on low, then the light distribution will be a bit lower. And if that doesn't work, then you can try to add a different recessed light. But I know what you're saying. Some of them, they have very um like they have a source of light that is just like one point literally. And sometimes when you don't have loads of surface, then that the light won't distribute. But another idea what you can actually do is to, let me go to the kitchen, is to go under your kitchen cabinet and, for example, go with the create new product tool. So like I will go with the modify because like I created that with the create new product tool. But what you could do, you could take a circle. Again, like you can use the ruler to measure everything out, but literally do like this one is big, but just to give you an idea. So we can do something like this one. Now we can actually give it a bit of depth down, just like that. And now when you click on done, you can actually apply a light material in the middle, and that should work. So if I will just change, like take the texture off of this, like that's a light texture, then that should illuminate as well, and it will have totally different distribution than a regular spotlight. So that's actually another way how you can fix that, for example. If you would like to have like a recessed lights, like you can do that on the ceiling as well. So like create one and then simply use the clone tool and and clone it and paste it anywhere you want.
Is it possible? Can I talk? I'm sorry, didn't know if it's possible to unmute, but what I find is with white cabinets per se, it was hard to create like an overall look, a pretty look that you normally when you see in person, you see a cabinet, but in the doing the cans, it like I said, it created that high and lows, and so I was looking through all of the lights to try to just put an overall lighting in the room so that it was balanced. And that's what I was having a hard time with.
Yes, but even though that you put in the overall light also goes to all your light sources. So like the more light sources you have, the different atmosphere you will create in your on the render. So like for example, if you will have a kitchen, and even though we will have white cabinets, but you won't have enough natural light or sources of light, then like you won't be able to create a nice render.
Oh, so I'll just work on my highs and lows to create the mood instead of doing an overall.
Yes, yeah. And like, sometimes if you will use the lights and you don't like the color of the lights, you can always try to change it to like, if it's too yellow, you can change it to neutral or white. If you will go to textures, then we have like a light material where you can actually change like you will be changing the bulb from, let's say, cold one or like a cool one to warm one. So you can do that as well, and maybe that might make a difference, like, in the appearance of the kitchen on your render.
Okay, okay. That makes sense. I'll play with that.
Yeah, so like we have light material here. So yeah, so you can simply drag it and drop it on the bulb. And also you can play with the color hues to like, make it a bit warmer or a bit colder as well.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, perfect. No other questions for now. Yes, so like yes, so if the same, like if you can't find the recessed lights that you like, then like you can always create one. And if you don't like the color of the lights that you've chosen, then you can change the light itself. So like the color of the illumination, you can also change that. Okay, so if you have any more questions about the lights, then feel free to um, text it in the chat. But I will go to textures now. But like, we can come back to the lights at any point. Zanel, for my renders, I add extra light on the ceiling to get a nice balanced render, but when I hide this light in render mode, it also takes the lighting away. Is there a setting where you can hide the lighting but it will still show? No, unfortunately not. If you're adding lights, then you can either you have to go on the angle for your render, that like if you don't want the light to show, then you have to do the angle that you can't see the light. If you will hide it, then it's non-existent. So like, it won't distribute light if you will hide it. So you can't hide it and then still have the light. So like you have to create a different angle to either not see the light or just to make it visible on the render. Marisa. Yeah, you're very welcome, Sanel. Marisa, hi. What would happen if you applied the light emitting material to the entire ceiling? Well, it will illuminate light. So, if you will do it on low, then like, it will be low. I don't think if I tried that, yes, but yeah, but like you will basically have a light on the ceiling. It's not like the lighting material, it's usually not as strong as a light itself, but it will illuminate, like, so if you will put it on the full ceiling, then you can do that and like, try with the rendering preview and see how that looks. Um, but I don't think that I would recommend it. But yeah, but you can like, check how that will look. Okay, so yeah, we're going back to textures. Yeah, so when it comes to textures, I think we had that like I was talking about it before as well, but like, I can go through it again. Choosing textures. So we have a full catalog of textures that are editable. So like, you can edit them so they look nicer. They have like more texture, less texture. It all depends what we want. But not only textures are important, but also combining them with the lights. So first of all, if we are choosing textures that are warm, that have like warm hues, like, warmer beiges, browns, then we should go for either warm neutral or warm light. So it actually brings it, more to life and makes it look more realistic on the render. If on the warm texture, we will use a cold light, then it won't look as nice, and it might like create different color of the texture, and like the end result won't be too nice. The same if we're going for cooler textures like cold grays, or like I don't know, but like cold colors basically. You don't have to go with very cool light. You can, you can try with neutral and see how that looks. But if you want to bring that coolness up, then you can go for the quarter lights. I don't recommend to use a cold light when you're using white colors, because it will make your white look more blue, and the color won't be like, it won't be nice. It won't be clean, like, it will have very unpleasant color, especially like, when you want to create like a nice atmosphere. So when it comes to whites, even if your overall space, it's like, it's more, let's say, industrial and colder, go with neutral light. You don't have to go with like a yellow warm light, but go with neutral light, not with very cool light, because it like cool light will always have a bit of like a bluish hues. I think we have a question here. And where can you set the temperature of the light? You can set the temperature of the light by itself, but what can you do? Just let me go and just to show you example. I just need to find a good lamp to do it. Let's try with this one. So, for example, we have this light, and this light, like inside, it's is very orange. So, what we can try to do, we can go with, I'd say, it will be this one. We can try to change, like illumination of it a bit. So let's say that we'll go more to like a lighter, so it will illuminate a bit lighter. And the same if we will go with the light material, or we can go even with natural light. Then you can do the same. So like we can, or even if I will take the white emitting light, I can still go on my hues chart here, and I can actually make it a bit warmer. So like, so I can make it like, more, it won't be as cool, it will be warmer. It like, I don't have to go all the way to the warm, but I can just make it more natural, and like, just nicer, not like, the same if you have like a, very yellow, you don't have to play with the light itself. You can go to textures, you can apply the light material, and then you can play with the hues. The same if you will be creating the previews and you don't like it, then you can go back and like, make it again a bit darker or a bit brighter. Like we don't have an option where you can actually like, set let's say that we will go to like, that we have a cool, so it will be that many kelvins. Then we will go with the natural and neutral, and like, we'll have different amount of kelvins, and then we'll go to warm one. So like you can do it here, and like, work with the color hue to make it a bit more warm or a bit more cool. So that would be the way to do it. Yes. So yes. And now when it comes to textures itself, you're very welcome, Barbara. And when it comes to textures itself, as you know, we can edit textures. So I have some textures saved here in my shortlist. Um, so let's start maybe with like a pattern. Okay, so we have this wallpaper, for example. If you will drop it, all the textures, like only when it comes to paint colors, they will like, you don't have to do anything with them. But the more patterns you have, like, they sometimes like the bigger the design will be on your wall, especially when you have like a big wall, it will outstretch throughout the surface that you're dropping it to. So now we either change it by the texture size or we change it by the number of tiles. Most textures, when you will change them, it doesn't matter if it will be by number of tiles or a texture size, they will just change nicely. So you won't have actually a tile texture. It's just the overall density of that texture will change, and you will see like more design on it or less design if you want to. So you either decrease the number or increase it. When it comes to choosing between number of tiles or texture size, by changing your texture. So if you don't know the texture size, that comes especially for tiles. So let's say that we have this subway tile here and we don't know the size of a single tile. Then like, we can play with the number of tiles and like up to the point that we're happy with it. But if you know the size of a single subway tile, we click on texture size, and now we can put a size. Let's say that it will be 0.6 by 0.3. And now when you do it like that, you will have the same effect as you will have in a physical space. So you don't have to know exact one. Like you can go online and see what is the approximate size of a tiles that you will be using, just to have that very realistic effect when you will finish your work and do the render. Also, when do we use the tiles, the texture size to change your texture? If you want to move your texture to another surface, and it doesn't matter if that surface is smaller or bigger, always use the texture size, because if I will now move it to a smaller size wall. So like we have a smaller size wall here, and now I will go with the texture material and I will move it to this wall. It will be identical. As you can see, it even aligns here nicely. So like it will look exactly the same. If I will change my like this texture, if I will go and change it by the number of tiles, so we'll make it a bit smaller. And now I will use the texture and material to move it. Then as you can see, it like these ones, they are bigger, these ones are smaller, because the number of tiles refers to the size of the surface that you're dropping your texture into. So the texture won't look the same on the surface that it's larger or smaller than the one that you edited it on. So that's why it is very important to change it by the texture size if you want to move it to another surface. You don't have to know the texture size. Again, you can play with it up to you're satisfied with it. But if you want to move it, always use the texture size to edit it, not the number of tiles. Barbara, how do you do this with the wallpaper? Yes, so with the wallpaper, I think you can try to take a roll width, and then I'd say, like, when it comes to wallpaper, I will always play with the texture size up to a point where I will be satisfied with it. But you can try and edit it by, let's say that like I will drop this wallpaper on this wall. Let's say this one is bigger. And if I will go to texture size, and let's say that my roll is like a 0.5. Yeah, like it's with wallpaper, it is a bit different because the pattern repetition, like you don't know the exact size of the pattern repetition. Like you can, I don't know, like you can take wallpaper and actually, measure it out in like, up to when like, when the pattern is like, changing. But with the wallpaper, I will like, like for me, I usually just like, eyeball it and yeah, and I see if like, if that looks right or not, because it will be it will be more difficult. Yeah, but usually like, when you're buying a wallpaper in the shop or online, like you will have an image, how does it look like, on the wall. So like you will have approximate idea of like, how small or big the design will be on your wall. So yeah, so like, so that will be when it comes to the wallpapers. Yeah, another textures that I have here, you have like for example this one, the same, we can either go with the number of tiles or like, change it by the texture size, and if we will be dropping it to another surface. You can remember that you can always upload your own textures, and even if you will drop them and they will look blurry or like, not clear, not nice, they will clear up when you will do the render. So I think I have some, let me go to all projects, especially when it comes to large textures like wall murals. Like I have some here, and I think they were like they were very big and they just look like a not nice, blurry when you will drop them. Yeah, so like for example, this one here, like you can barely see what that is, but if you'll do a render, I can promise you it will clear up and you will be able to see what's on the mural. Won't be the part won't the pattern be distorted if I eyeball it and go by number of tiles? Um, but what do you mean that it won't look as it's supposed to, or yeah, well, you see, that's the thing with pattern. Like, we don't always know the texture size. So, like, so we will eyeball it and like and change it to a point where we like, where we're happy with it. And you can go on the render and see if that looks right. Um, yeah, so that will be like, my answer to that. Yeah, like I was working with multiple textures, and when it comes to wallpapers, I will like I always eyeball it. I never put like exact size on when it comes like, to wallpaper. I did when it comes to tiles, and like, and it turned out to be the same effect as it will be in a physical space. But when it comes to like, marbles, and like, create like less veins, more veins, or like wallpapers, then I think you just like, have to work until you're like, pretty much happy with it. You know, I think that like when you're working for a client, then whatever work we do for them, and like, when we will finish the project and we'll sending them the renders, like there's always something that might look different in the physical space, like, like we are not able to do everything one to one. So there's like there's always that point where you can like, say that, listen, it will look approximately like that, like, like so I don't think that we have to be like overly worried about like, if the pattern of the wallpaper is a bit too small or a bit too big. It's just like, nice to have a reference. So even try to find it on a website and like, see if it's like, if it looks similar to what you edited it. So like, that will be pretty much my suggestion. Okay, so yeah, and I think I have yeah, all these textures here, they are like, nicely editable. Like they will be big when you drop them, but then like, you can edit them and they will be nice when it comes to like a slabs like this one, for example. Then like you can have a bit more texture or a bit less texture. Again, it looks blurry, but and it will look like this one here, like a nice and clean when you will do the render. So now let me go back to this one here, and I will go to that exciting thing that I told you at the beginning. So we have the challenge for you, and I hope that you're ready for it. So we want you to create a space with the best lighting and texture application. So play with texture, play with lighting, and send us your renders, and the best one will win. So these are the rewards. You can see all of that here. So that's a special spotlight in the next office hours session, a social media feature in front of Foyr's 216K plus community, and a chance to share one of your designs for review during the next session. So I hope that loads of you, hopefully all of you, will participate, and we will see some nice designs there. And because like, their rewards are really nice. All the details will be sent out to you, of course, as well. So like yeah, well, you can take like a screenshot with your phone if you want, but like everything will be sent out to you. As usual, if you have any suggestions for next office hours, drop them in a chat. Now we have another like 5 minutes left. And if you have any questions regarding our session today, or maybe something else that I can quickly answer, then go ahead. Okay. Jean, is there a space minimum or requirement? Can you elaborate on that, Jean? Is there a space minimum or requirement for the challenge? No, I don't think so. Yeah, you can, it doesn't matter if it's a big space or a small space. What matters is the showing like, how your texture can look the best, combining with the proper lighting. Barbara, how do I set grouts between tiles? For your ready to go tiles, even it doesn't matter if you will um, upload your own, or if you will use the tiles that we have in our catalog. These are pre-made, so like you're not able to change them. And in most of them, I don't even think that you can actually change the grout. So like even if I have like something like this here, so we have something like this one, like I don't like, you won't be even able to, to change the grout. When I will go to, let's say, just like even this tile here, and I will go to, yes, so that's just a one. So like even if you will try like, to change the hues of it or whatever, then like, all of it will change. I think it will be the same with the texture that you will upload. That's not something that you can control. So like the smaller the texture you will do, and the smaller the grout will be. If you would like to have like a very visible grout in between your tiles, then like you have to upload an image with the tiles where like, where your grout is a bit bigger. Or you can try to create it with the create new product tool, and like create a tile size, and then do the offset for the grout if you want the grout to be very visible and have the like, exact size that you want. Because like, you can't these are not single tiles, that's a full pattern. So like when you edited it, it's like you edit it as a full pattern, not like, tile and grout separately. Okay, so we're done for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Anel. Thanks, Barbara. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. Yes, and yeah, so good luck with the challenge. I can't wait to see what you will create, and we will see you next week. Have a lovely day and a lovely weekend ahead. Take care, guys.